Hello, good morning. Welcome to JoyNews today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlimle on DTT because we're free to on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. Coming up this morning, residents of Sibi and then Kwanta North District ask government to provide the community with potable water. Also, this morning, President Akufo-Addo tasked the Electoral Commission to ensure credible elections in 2024. Plus, in our Ghana Month series, today we will tell you why the overlord of the Wal traditional area cannot step foot in the Mango community. We have business and sports coming up and news desk this morning. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram and Twitter via JoyNews on TV. My personal handle is Adhanana Aisha. Please stay for details. President Akufo-Addo is asking the Electoral Commission to ensure the sanctity of votes cast in the 2024 elections. Swearing in 3 new members of the Electoral Commission, the President said under no circumstance should elections be decided by the count and collation of results rather than the casting of votes.
It is no secret that I have spent most of my adult life fighting for the establishment of democracy and human rights in this country. And I've always fought for and advocated for a credible electoral process in Ghana. In emphasizing the importance and credibility of elections, it must be pointed out that the count, the collation, the declaration of results cannot and should not be more important than the sacred God-given right of a citizen casting his or her ballot. I have said it before and I will repeat it. Elections are about those who cast the vote, not those who count, not those who supervise, not those who transmit, and not those who declare. The heart of the democratic process is giving effect to the choices made by those who cast the vote. The 3 persons I have sworn in a few moments ago as members of the Electoral Commission are persons I am confident will bring integrity, professionalism, and independence and fairness of mind to the discharge of their duties.
But MP for Boem, Kofi Adams, says President Akufo-Addo is packing the Electoral Commission with known members of the New Patriotic Party.
Some commissioners, even though it was their right to vote in the past, elected not to even vote. Even though their political persuasion was really never known, and if they had voted, it would have been so difficult to even predict who they were voting for, in order to show the level of being fair to all. Dr. Kudwa Farijam, for example, stayed away from voting in all elections that he is pretendent over. Today, we are not only appointing persons that people will question either their qualification, their understanding, but we are also appointing party apparatchiks, which is wrong. I thought the president would have learned some lessons after bringing in the Dr. Bosmans and the rest, but that's not the case. As a party and as a member of parliament and as a citizen of this country, we are all going to watch this closely and monitor the actions and inactions of some of these officers that have been just sworn in. Whatever appropriate actions that we will take it in order that our democracy is not destroyed beyond what has happened. That the sanctity of our votes shall be respected, and that no individual will do anything to undermine that process. And so if it is the plan that they break the eight that they are talking about, this is part of the scheme of things to pack the Electoral Commission, which should be independent of party apparatchiks, then they should revise their notes.
Meanwhile, the campaign team for flag bearer hopeful John Mahama and former president say no amount of compromise will be tolerated as they prepare for the 2024 elections. Leader of the team, Professor Joshua Alabi, says the party has won the elections already with John Mahama as leader.
Joshua Alabi, in his address to party faithful, mentioned that their main target ahead of the 2024 elections is to ensure that the coalition system of the party is strengthened. And by doing so, the elections and victory will be secured for the NDC in the upcoming election.
We are very confident by about 2 a.m. that the NDC will tell you. We are working hard behind the scenes to make sure our coalition system is very robust, and come that day, don't be surprised if by 12 midnight or 1 day you see us on television telling you to go out and jubilate. We are not prepared to cheat any party, and the same way we are not ready for any party to cheat us. We are also sending a strong signal to the East that the essence of multi-party democracy is to give the people the best. In a situation where you portray as if you are given an advantage to a particular party, then we'll get the type of performance you have to do. When the party believes that, or a candidate believes that he has the referee in the pocket, then he will just give the people anything, and that's what we have to do. So the Electoral Commission has a role to play in ensuring that we move from this bad economic situation to a more stable economic situation, and that is to give a fair playing field to all parties. We are sure that when it is very fair, NDC will win hands down.
They are still left with 2 more contestants to come and file their nominations. The former mayor for Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, Mr. Kojo Bosu, and former finance minister, Dr. Kwabena Dufo, are the rest left to come and file their nominations. So after this filing of the nominations, the party will decide when the vetting will take place, and after that, the main elections will come off on the 30th of May 2023. Reporting for JoyNews from the head office of the NDC in Accra, Samuel Mbura.
Let's do some analysis this morning and speak with Dr. Kwesi Amache Boateng with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He is a political science lecturer. I'm grateful for your time, Dr. Amache. First, what's your take on the latest appointment to the EC by the president, with some of them being known faces of the NPP?
Good morning, and thanks for this opportunity. And let me say good morning to your viewers and listeners. Actually, it's a blatant violation of some ethical codes on general electoral governance in democracy. The extent that these institutions are supposed to be independent institutions, then the executive will always have to make conscious efforts to send individuals there who are not only there on account that they have been, if you like, appointed by the executive, but that also the society also receives them with the understanding that their presence would not affect the core elements in democracy, which ensures that the playing field is level. You know, a requirement that will ensure free, fair, and credible elections. In the absence of that, elections itself will lose its credentials as democratic. So it is a sad development, because Ghana has come quite far. From 1993 to Let me quickly go back to say that MPP tradition simply didn't accept anything the Rawlings put in place. They came out with all sorts of accusations and justifications, indicating that they are the apostles of democracy. And today, this is what they are doing. And it is blatant. The gentleman is a known MPP activist, period. So technically, even on moral grounds, it doesn't qualify to work at the Electoral Commission. No, it is unacceptable.
Now, we know, I mean, in the lead up to the 2020 elections and up till now, there's been growing mistrust for the EC by the NDC. Now, what implications does this have on the EC's work, especially as we lead to the 2024 elections, or even, I mean, if you put the 2024 elections in perspective, what does this, what implication does this have on the EC's work?
You see, there's something that Dr. Apajan did that are surprised. The latter commissioners are not, picking. Following the elections in '92, Dr. Apajan was advised to establish this committee that will involve political parties and other stakeholders for them to advise. But Dr. Apajan went beyond the fact that, those bodies were advisory. He made them appear like, they had a mandate to make rules and regulations for the commission. And that is the posture you take when some actors in the arena, some political actors in the arena have issues with your integrity, your neutrality. You consciously go out to, position yourself. Your posture is what will simply enable them to have confidence in the electoral system. This is not what is happening. The recent development, is so shady and problematic. The insistence on using the Ghana card as a sole document to establish one's Kenyan identity. This issue is hardly over. The issue you're raising coming from the 2020 elections are there unaddressed, and we are adding to that. So the whole issue is that we are not making any conscious efforts to, grow our democracy. So at this time, it's like we are not just marking time, but we see that institutionally, the action taken is simply, might have the potential to derail the progress made. There's one thing with democracy, it is tenure. There's nothing like it has been in place for a long time. Just yesterday in the United States of America, Donald Trump virtually staged a coup d'etat in the U.S. So democracy is such that it should be watched, and rules, especially the electoral rules, everybody will have to stay awake and make sure that nobody shifts the goalpost to their advantage.
What's the ideal thing to do at this point? Should the appointees be withdrawn?
The gentleman himself should resign himself. He should do the honorable thing. Kenyans don't accept him. Simple and straight. Kenyans don't accept him. He's an MPP person. He's not the one to serve Ghana in this capacity.
Well, we've seen that the former President Mahama's team have sent caution to the Electoral Commission that they will not tolerate any compromise in the election process. But let me pick your point or gauge your mood on this. I mean, there are other candidates of the NDC, but it looks like most of them are vying for former President Mahama.
Now, what is wrong with that? We have a case of popular candidates.
Is he the surest candidate to win power for the 2024 elections?
That is the indication coming from the NDC. That is the message coming from the NDC. You see, elections need to be democratic. Elections. And there are certain variables that affect that. These have got anything to do with the fact that a particular candidate in a particular party is overwhelmingly popular so much so that everybody supports him or her. You know, elements of democratic elections, it should be competitive. And in the case of the NDC, has the party stopped anybody who contests from contesting? It should be definitive. The winner should be made to go ahead and do what is expected of the winner. It should be periodic. And then this constitution ensures periodic elections when they need a flag bearer. And then to be inclusive. Everybody who matters in the NDC, the franchise, the party's constitution, I think it is clear, and has not stopped anybody who has to vote from voting. So these are the 4 key democratic elements that ensure that elections are free. None of these has anything to do with majority in particular political parties supporting one candidate. There's nothing wrong with the party having so many people supporting President Mahama. There's nothing wrong at all.
Dr. Amanti Boateng, I'm grateful for your time this morning. He's political scientist with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Away from politics, let's go to CB, because residents in that area, in the Nkwanta North district, are asking government to provide potable water for the community. 2 years after JoyNews visited that community and reported on the unwholesome nature of the water the community relies on for domestic use, they say nothing has been done about the situation.
JoyNews visited the CB community and reported on the acute water shortage in the area that compelled residents to rely on unwholesome sources of water to survive. If there has been anything done to bring relief to the people, it is nothing that has been done. Residents at CB Hilltop and Central continue to depend on hand dugouts at suspected areas for water for domestic use. Though some water does spring up for them to collect, it stinks and also consumed without any treatment.
Wow. That's how we drink. It's because I'm not thirsty. That's how we drink.
These young girls would stop at nothing to get water home for use, some of whom, we are told, are bitten by snakes during the search for water. At least 4 women have been reported dead from snake bites. Daniel volunteered to take us around.
I think a few days ago, a lady was fetching from this very pit, as you can see. There was a snake inside. So, according to her, when she entered here to fetch water, the snake entered her skirt. You get it. But she was very fortunate she was not hurt. So we can count about 4 or 5 women, yes, who died out of snake bites because they were searching for water in the middle of the night.
This is the confirmation as a member of the news team was almost bitten by this snake. That's all. It is also worth mentioning that these springs are shared with the herds of cattle in the area as the main dugout that the community relies on dries up. The only hope for the community is this mechanized borehole sunk for the community about a year ago by Ruth Nati Foundation. This does not serve the growing population, coupled with erratic power supply to the area by Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO. Kujo and his family are caretakers of the facility.
The population at CB, both Central and Hilltop, we can't, the dam cannot help us. So up to now, we are still suffering of water problem. By then, so if it is rainy season and then the water passes, after the dry season, our women go there, sleep there, they dig the holes, then the water will be coming small, and they'll be freshly bit by bit. Before they will break, maybe one person will get pan before coming to the house to feed on. Some have children, so if it happens that way, at times snake bites, a lot of problems. Some have small children. Some if you go and give birth, want more visions, mama different other people to get more visions and give us more water to be Hilltop. This one cannot help CB. The population here is more than 18,000.
On the occasion of World Water Day, we wish to remind duty bearers of their commitment to ensuring social justice towards the vulnerable and the realization of access to clean water and sanitation for all, as stipulated in the Sustainable Development Goal 6. There are details in a Part 2 production as the acute water shortage has affected education, health delivery, and worker retention in the area. Peter Senu for JoyNews.
Meanwhile, communications manager at the Ghana Water Company Limited, Stanley Mati, says his outfit is making every effort to provide Ghanaians, particularly those living in rural areas, with access to safe, potable water. He spoke on the AM show.
Ultimate objective is for everybody to have access to water. So we are doing a lot in that vein. In some areas, we are even selling bulk water to some communities and even to the Community Water and Sanitation Agency, especially in areas where they fall under rural categorization, so that they can in turn distribute the water within the communities and then collect the necessary revenue. So there's a lot being going on. We are still exploring, and all in the bid to have or meet the SDG goals by 2030. That is access to water for all or by all. So a lot is being done in that vein, and like I keep saying, our doors are open to all discussions. Anything that can support the provision of water to Ghanaians, we are in for it. Ghana Water Company Limited has subscribed to the Water Safety Plan worldwide, or the global or international water safety plans, and this is expected to it's a risk assessment, and it's expected of us to manage our water from the abstraction stage to the final consumer. And the PLC has also given us the same standards as a KPI, so we are supposed to work by it.
So as it is now, you're not able to tell me, because I'm asking this because
I'm building a point.
All right. Okay.
So what I'm saying is that with all these in place, okay, we are expected to ensure that water at any stage before consumption is safe. And that's exactly what the Ghana Water Company is doing. We have people who also recruit unprofessional plumbers to do connections for them. And the pipelines are buried. So if the connection is not done very well and buried, definitely you're going to have some seepage into the pipelines. And then when there's a burst, you definitely, there should be some seepage. Now you realize that in some communities, people even lay pipelines through the drainage, all in a bid to go past the normal way of doing things, and then especially with the illegal connections, and assuming that there's a burst or there's some leakage on the pipeline, definitely the dirty water from the drainage could seep through the line. So all these things are possibilities, and that is why we go through the communities on daily basis to do post-chlorination and also to sample the water in some areas and do the analysis and to find out whether there hasn't been any seepage.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Water Company Limited is partnering students as part of this year's World Water Day celebration to advocate for water preservation, briefing the media after a tour with selected students at their pump station at Setrahimeng in the Central Region. Regional Manager of the Ghana Water Company, Aisha Ibrahim, explained it was imperative to collaborate with students to bring attitudinal change among communities and societies on how to protect water bodies from destruction.
Regional manager of the Ghana Water Company encouraged Ghanaians to be the change they want. Aisha Ibrahim said raw water was becoming scarce in recent times, hence the need to protect what is left from pollution for the benefit of all, especially human survival. The regional manager also called on all stakeholders to join hands in the fight against Galamsey.
We are happy that we have included pupils and students into this year's celebration of the World Water Day. The target is to inculcate in them at this early age, create awareness and conscientize them of the need to protect our water bodies and also to conserve treated water. We believe that even as they appreciate the difficulty in the processing of water, they can now be ambassadors for us everywhere.
He maintained that halting Galamsey activities would help reduce the cost of production to enable them serve customers and create friendly environment for all.
Currently, we are struggling with turbidity levels. The plant is having difficulties to treat. The plant is designed to treat raw water. I think the turbidity levels do not be more than 2,000, and currently we are having 6,000 NTU and above. I think now the normal coagulant that will be used for any treatment process is aluminum sulfate, but aluminum sulfate is not able to handle the level of turbidities we have here. We are using polyelectrolytes. Many of them we call them polymers, and these are really, really expensive. I think about 4 times the cost of what normal aluminum sulfate will do. And of course, this adds up to the cost of operations. You saw also when we were on the plant, the power just went off. So apart from GWCL being water utility, we depend also on the power. And when power goes down or even fluctuates, we have problems sometimes not being able to operate. So all these adds up to the challenges we face.
Some beneficiary students expressed gratitude to the company for the insight given them and appealed to the illegal miners to halt their activities to save the country from importing water in the future. They also made a passionate appeal to the government to do its best to halt the illegal activities that are destroying the rivers and water bodies in the country.
So coming to the water treatment plant today has taught me a lot. I've learned the various processes water goes through before it gets to our homes, and I must say I'm quite surprised. I didn't know dirty water could be purified to the extent that we could drink it and it could come through our taps at home. We were sent to the river where the water is sourced from, and I had the shock of my life. The water is really dirty, and I learned it's due to Galamsey activities that you could even see from where we were standing. So I think the government should do more to stop these Galamsey activities, because the state of the river body was terrible. It was terrible, and I'd advise all of us in our various homes not to waste water, because the process the water goes through to be treated is quite expensive.
What I would like to tell people watching me from all spheres of the country is that we have to be ambassadors wherever we find ourselves, in our schools, in our homes, in our community, knowing that because the number of sediment dissolved in the water is a lot, the cost of production here is increasing. And if care is not taken for 10 years to come or 5 years to come, we would have to import water from a different place, and what will cause issues for the country.
The students were taken through various processes of preparing water for consumption.
And in our Ghana Month series, despite the overload of the Wala traditional area, with all powers vested in him, there's one community he cannot visit. That's the Mangu community, which has been forbidden for all persons who have ascended the throne of the Wala kingdom. Today, Rafiq Salam explores why the Wala overload cannot visit Mangu.
Located in the northwestern side of the Wala township is Mangu, and the residents are predominantly Gonjes, known locally here as Jabarahe, situated at the heart of Mangu and sandwiched by dozens of neem trees is the Gura shrine. Where we are in now is actually called Gura, but it's now a shrine for the people of the Wala traditional area. This is where the third chief of the Wala traditional area, now Gura, got into and was missing. And so any royal, upon assumption of the throne of the Wala traditional area, they have to come here to pacify the ghosts.
Everyone has no legitimate right to come back here. It's a taboo, only to Wana. So when they say Mango is a dangerous place for people living in Wa, it's not dangerous to anybody. It's dangerous to only Wana.
Growing up in Wa, a lot of stories has been told about the iconic Gura shrine, particularly being the Waterloo for the third water chief around the year 1681. In the company of some royals of Mango, who are traditional custodians of the shrine, and divisional chief of Duse, Na Mama Jongara Salu, who also doubles as a royal from the Yijila Gate, I went with them into the Gura shrine for a better explanation of the perceived venison of Nagura during the war between the Wala and notorious slave raiders, Samurai and Baba too.
It was during the war era. He was trying to escape the war. From Fongo to this place, there's a shortcut here. In front of the current MP's house, there's a valley. After crossing the valley, his subordinates asked him, "Father, where are you going, leaving us? You want the people to come and take us bondage, or you want them to kill us?" So he said they should wait for him, he's coming. Then he traveled all the way to Salmana, between Doma, Yirman Boys village. Then Beche. Between the two villages, there's a pond there. He went there after his horse taking water. He decided coming back to the people. He came here, Gura precisely. It was a small forest. So he decided to enter to see whether he can free himself, not knowing he was trying to vanish. So the subordinates were still waiting for him. He never came out, so they traced him up to this place.
After waiting for a while and not seeing any sign of him, they traced him up to this area, which was a mini forest, but to no avail. They however saw some small holes they believe he might have vanished into, and his sandals and some personal effects he was carrying. Adam Awore hails from Mount Saddam Bayiri, the family that has custody over the brush shrine.
The only sign they saw there was something like holes of cricket, but it appears the holes were much bigger. They looked around and saw his spear, sandals, clothes and chains he normally used for his slaves. It was there they realized that their chief did not want to be disgraced, and that is why he vanished.
Dusena Mama Jongara Salbu stated that since the incident, the shrine is always pacified by all succeeding overlords of the Wala throne.
They said, "Uncle, Grandpa, let us go and keep this your legacy. In case you come back, you come to take your legacy." So that is why everyone comes to perform the shrine here. And this is part of the witness. This feathers here, this feathers belongs to the current one who came and did it. And the blood you saw on the shrine was the blood of the sheep they slaughtered on it. So it's still here. And it has never gone dry. That is why they are hanging a gallon of water on top of it. It can be there 20 years, 30 years, until his death, before they can change the water.
Of the whole area. But
yes,
there's a place that you can't come in.
And that is this place. That is this place. From the Mango Junction up to this place, no one has ever trespassed this place. Yet there are warriors living within them. Even some of the royals are living here. But one per se can never set eyes here, not even foot.
He provided examples of former Wala overlords that arguably may have been caught in the web.
When Sidiq Bome used to travel to and fro on the main road, going to where Pepsi offices are today. Wadia's father, Peter Ghanaian, they used to go to him and enjoy there. So anytime he's passing from Kambala Johnson, the Sana Johnson precisely, they'll cover this side with a very big towel. He's always in his car, 1717 UR. That was what he was using, Peugeot 504. The normal cover that place. And he sits in the back alone with his language, Banaba or Salanga. So they go to him. Every time when they are coming, they wouldn't pass here again. They go through Dormo Road, pass to Xavier side, and then he goes home. One eye Yakubu, Swale the second, Metro Mass, quite recently, when he jumped into it, for the day they commissioned Metro Mass in Wahia, they go to in-service. So he turned and I was looking at this place. Somebody within them asked him, Father, you are looking at Gurao. He said, Oi. That was the local language he used, that Oi. Then he turned. But look at in-service and this place. At that time, these houses were not there, but these trees were visible from in-service. That was the second one. So I wouldn't say I'm attributing their death to it. No, because they never came here. But before they had the scent. So I believe that is working them.
One of the places that the water overload practical visits is this house of cheese complex located at Wala Sambo. The distance from the One House Palace passing through the main traffic light up to Kambale is much shorter than when you are passing through Zongo, Choco, up to this place. But the water overload is like the former because of its proximity to Gura.
One Afisheni tried passing here, we said no. That's why they constructed a new road up to the House of Chiefs, and he passes there always. He has never set foot here. Even though his brothers are living here, Gotorena Ali Audu, he lives here by Gora, but that has no anything against him. Me, myself talking, I'm from the same family with him. He's my father. But I have not, it's not a taboo for me to enter here as I've entered.
But once you become one,
once I become one, I can never, and I will never come here again.
The Gura Shrine, being a place of reverence for Wala royals, surely is not in the best of shape, and they wanted to be given a facelift to attract the needed tourist attraction.
So, ananga sombo nga na bihi and dan something ananda.
It was our MP who fenced the place for us. The place needs to be given a facelift and beautified to attract tourists.
We are like Oliver Twist. We needed more. For say, if we can get helping hand from any other NGO or government side for us to reconstruct this place nicely, to make it tourist attraction, it would be helpful for us.
For now, the people or the royals in the Wala community are still looking for the return of Nagura, who they believe is still alive. When will he come? Is that multi-million-dollar question that needs to be answered. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Back in the studio in Accra, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. We're still live on JoyNews Desk. We'll take a break. Welcome back to JoyNews Desk to the rest of our stories. And the principal for Wenche Agricultural College, Abdullahi Mahamadou, has urged first graduating class of the school to use the knowledge they have acquired to set up businesses for themselves to deal with the unemployment situation in the country. Speaking at the graduation ceremony of the school, he also decried some of the challenges hindering the smooth takeoff of the school.
In his address to the first ever graduates of the Wenche Agricultural College, Principal of the school, Abdullah Muhammadu, challenged the graduates to go beyond seeking for non-existent white-collar jobs and embrace venturing into farming as a business.
In fact, given the nature of our training, it is agribusiness inclined. And so our expectation is that when they go out there, they should be able to start on their own. At least it is a general agri program. And so there's a lot in terms of the agricultural value chain. So people can venture into areas that they have the requisite competencies. And when that is done, it will be better for all of them than to want to wait for the lucrative jobs that are really non-existent.
This, according to him, has the tendency of contributing towards the reduction of unemployment, particularly amongst the youth.
Definitely, yes, agric is a surest way of reducing the unemployment, the teeming unemployment situation that we have as a country. And so, like I was saying, all these people that we have trained out, at least they have acquired the necessary competencies and skills. And so when they are able to go and get that implemented, it paves way for them to get employed and even employ other people. So when they get employed in that sector and get other people on board, it will go a long way to reduce the teeming unemployed hands that we have in the country.
Mr. Abdullah was, however, quick to lament some challenges bedeviling the smooth running of the school. Key amongst them is the unavailability of enough classroom space, which, according to him, is adversely affecting student enrollment.
Currently, we have a 3-classroom block, which, when you look at our intake, it becomes very difficult to actually contain the number of students that we admit per a year. We don't also have a laboratory facility. Definitely, our enrollment is affected because the more you bring, the more you may need space to contain them. So once the available space in the area of classroom is not enough, it becomes difficult to want to admit more students as you may want to do it.
Chairman of the occasion and chief of Wenchi Kwasi, Nana Usu Ansasi Strakubesia II, on his part, appealed to government to consider facilitating in swift the establishment of the needed structures to aid the development of the school.
I want to add my voice again to call on the government through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to consider accelerating the processes to get the necessary infrastructure in place. Again, it's my prayer and call to all my compatriots, both home and abroad, to put their shoulders on the wheel to move this college to the destination that we all envisage, because it is our institution.
He also admonished the Wenchi Municipal Assembly to stay away from granting permits to developers who continuously encroach the school's existing lands.
My appeal to the Wenchi Traditional Council and the Statutory Planning Committee of the Wenchi Municipal Assembly is to refuse granting permits to all those who approach them to solicit for such documents when the lands belonging to Wenchi Agricultural College is at stake. The activities of the encroachers and those who consciously or unconsciously support them must be condemned.
Some of the graduates disclosed to JoyNews what they intend doing after the graduation ceremony.
I'm very excited graduating on this day. Yeah. And going out, in fact, I've acquired a lot of skills and knowledge here, and I wish to impact it on the society.
I'm very happy today to be part of the graduates of the agriculture students. And the governments are really doing their best, and then I also plead with them to continue supporting the youth in agriculture so that the country's economy will move on well, and we'll continue to support the country too.
Anna Sabit, JoyNews, Wenchi.
And as I wrap up news desk this morning, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. You get more of the stories, and there, including We Are One People, Baumia and Mahama allowed a peaceful enskinment of New Yagbongwara, plus more on myjoyonline.com. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. See you again at 12.